The dark side of rappers they don't want you to see. Rappers seem like they have everything together, but you would be surprised what they're hiding from everyone. Trust me, you're gonna want to watch this. Stay tuned till the end to see if you know about their secret lives.
If you don't stop, I'm gonna come out there and f*** you up, bro.
A simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's really your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Go for it.
When I came out of rehab, I was clean for I think 3 weeks total.
Eminem, eating disorder, and substance abuse. The irony of Eminem being on here is that he's one who has gone through two very dark sides over the course of his time in music, both of which dealt with his health. You see, when he started out in the rap scene via the Detroit Underground Network, he was very skinny, and it was part of his trademark look, aside from his very bleach blonde hair. As he started to make it into the industry and got picked up by Dr. Dre, he continued his look. On top of all the stress he was going through via the music life, he was having issues with his girlfriend, the mother of his child, as well as his own mother. It was getting to him mentally, and so he started to eat excessively, and not just food, but fast food, which you're not supposed to binge eat on, but he did, and his weight started to balloon. He was even being unrecognized by fans because they were like, Eminem isn't fat. Then after an overdose nearly taking his life, he said he was hours away from passing on, according to the doctors who saved him. Eminem fought to get back into shape. In fact, he actually fought too hard. He would work out in a treadmill for several hours a day, which also wasn't healthy, but he needed this fuel to get better. If you look at Eminem now, he's in a much more safe body type. He's not as thin as he used to be, but he doesn't need to be that anymore. He's at a healthy weight and has been sober for 10 years. This kind of thing isn't usually that dark side that you hear about when you think about rappers. Yes, the substance abuse can be typical, but not the overeating or the over-exercising, which just goes to show you that sometimes you never know how or when the dark side is going to hit you, but it will at times, and you have to work hard to get out of it.
I have not messed with Offset since he's had his baby. I didn't know how serious this marriage was.
Offset, infidelity. There are many kinds of dark sides as you're going to see on this list, and some of them are lies that are told in order to keep up a perception, yet are later proven to be false. And for the rapper known as Offset, the thing that he claims he is, but he isn't, is loyal to those he loves.
Hello, Hogs.
Yes, sir. We're here. You got to take it home.
Yeah, take it home. Okay.
Oh yeah, we're going there. And if you know his story, you know exactly what we're going to touch on. There's no hiding that when it comes to the women he's been with, it's a lot. You know that he's had multiple ex-wives and a series of children with those wives.
So what is your daughter's relationship like now with Offset?
Oh, she loves him. You know, she loves him.
This is why many were surprised when he and Cardi B suddenly and secretly got married in 2017. It was truly a secret marriage, and it made many wonder if this would be the marriage that would straighten out Offset for good. If you can't tell by this list, that didn't happen. About 6 months after they got married, a tape was leaked that showed him with another woman, and believe it or not, this was not the first time this happened to Offset.
You know, a lot of girls would just deal with this situation and just be like, yo, like, I took Cardi B's name, or I'm the reason that they're getting a divorce or anything like.
Which just goes to show how unloyal he is in terms of his wives. What's even worse than all this was that this latest indiscretion actually led to him and Cardi B doing a major fake flex con on everyone, as they used the event and social media outcry for Cardi to leave him to create a story about them truly being separated, only for them to get caught not separated and then have their reunion at the Grammys to show that everything was fine. And you thought your relationships were complicated, right? So not unlike Kanye, they used their dark side to try and get them more fame and just caused a series of annoyances as a result. Kanye West, bipolar. Okay, let's start with a rapper whose dark side is known to the whole world, but we still need to talk about it. While Kanye West has always been seen as a jerk or a goofball, his struggles with mental health have been talked about in various interviews throughout his career. Mainly, he lamented the fact that he had to deal with bipolar disorder, which he has been officially diagnosed with, for the record, on a daily basis.
It is a health issue. This is like a sprained brain, like having a sprained ankle.
And then when he revealed that he had it to the world, it became a lightning rod of sorts to the media to blame just about everything he does on that. This actually led to a breakdown that he had about it, and he noted to David Letterman in an interview the isolation that he felt because of this. If Kanye had one benefit of coming out in regards to his bipolar disorder, it's that he now had something to fall back on. And no, I don't mean the disease itself, but rather he had a new identity that he could play off of, one of a tortured genius, as a Forbes Wright noted. He actually takes pride in the fact that many people can't truly understand what he does or why he does what he does. It fuels him in a way and gives him permission on his own mind to go and troll the media, which is honestly really dumb and terrible. Just as bad though is that there is a way to treat bipolar disorder in a short term via certain medications. Kanye admitted that he used to take those medications, but it would cloud his mind, so he just straight up stopped using them, which if you can't tell is a bad thing. He's worse now than he's ever been, and despite his enlightened state that he would like to have us believe, this is still the guy who goes on Twitter and does rants for 3 hours. Plus, he occasionally has bouts with reality that put him in places that set him off, like that 3-hour rant I told you about that happened because his former friend Drake called to ask him a favor, and after denying him, in Kanye fashion, he went on to Twitter to say that Drake had threatened Kanye's family, which he didn't at all.
I did tell you not to do that, so period. It's like, don't speak on nobody from my family, nothing that could be even mentioned with my wife. Period. We don't have to talk again.
In many ways, this is the worst kind of dark side because it's one that he embraces, and that's awful. He basks in his glory in terms of his disorder and tries to use it to be free, when all he's really doing is annoying people and causing pain.
Hey y'all, I just want to tell y'all this. If y'all ever seen me at my job and I have a little attitude, I'm acting stank, it's not because I'm like that, it's because
Cardi B body changes. And just like these two are unique individuals, they have two unique dark sides. Cardi B is one of the most popular rappers around today and is affectionately known as the queen of rap to some. And to any who look at her, they know that she is a rather beautiful woman. And she once claimed that on her body she hadn't done any plastic surgery. But there was one aspect of her body that she did get changed originally: teeth. You see, if you look at some of the early photos of Cardi B before her hit song Kodak Yellow, you'll notice that her smile is a bit crooked, and for the longest time she had that crooked smile. So because people are mean and kids and teens are meaner, Cardi B was made fun of for that smile. But then she decided that enough was enough. She used the money she got from her contract deal to make sure that she had the best smile around. But she didn't just spend a little money on it. Oh no, she spent $40,000 on her mouth to make sure it was perfect in her eyes. That's about what an average person makes in a year.
It will really be pissing me off when people be commenting like, oh my gosh, Cardi, why did you fix your teeth? You know why I fix my teeth? What is you talking about?
And she spent that on her mouth. But hey, you can't deny the results. The procedure was a complete success, and now her smile is as flashy and bright as she is. And frankly, if you're getting made fun of for something like this and you have the money to spend on it, why wouldn't you? Of course, the irony of this is that after having her child with Offset, Cardi B kind of went through a bit of a mental break, so much so that she felt she didn't look good enough and thus went through a massive plastic surgery streak. Her pregnancy with daughter Culture wasn't planned. She admitted so herself. So when she did have the baby, her first thoughts were that her career was over because she wouldn't be able to have the form that she had before. Offset ironically encouraged her to keep her music career alive and fight for her shape, and so she did at first. She went back on tour and things were fine, but then she kept seeing flaws and tried to fix them with plastic surgery, so much so that she decided to do it and perform on stage shortly after. This caused her a lot of pain as her body swelled up in places like her feet, and she had to admit to having a problem. If she had just stayed true to herself, she wouldn't have had to deal with this, but this is yet another side of the music world that is well known. They need to look 100% all the time, and to be as beautiful or as handsome as possible in order to make sure that you're still beloved. Perfect. That didn't happen for Cardi, and she had to pay the price. Drake, anger issues. Look, it's rarely ever fun to talk about the dark side of a person in a video like this. We get it, but many careers have been tainted, ruined, or worse because of the dark side of a person coming out and causing a big mess. And when it comes to Drake, he's got a temper of some note, which is sad because obviously he's overall a great guy that we love to talk about and praise as one of the best rappers ever. I know some of you won't like hearing that Drake has some dark aspects to his past, but it's there. You honestly don't have to go very far to get that proof you want. Let's start with his most famous one. Drake is a very complicated man when it comes to his love life, but he has openly admitted many times that he loves Rihanna, while her most infamous relationship was her being with Chris Brown, who wasn't kind to her in any way, shape, or form when you get right down to it. After a big separation that spilled over the news, Drake dated her, and Chris Brown tried to play it off cool by talking to Drake at a nightclub and saying there were no hard feelings. You can see where this is going, right? Because as you can likely guess, Drake didn't want to hear it. He said some not so nice things about Brown pushed him, and Drake pushed him back, and the situation was made worse. Though details are somewhat sketchy about how intense it actually got, the point is it happened. It made a lot of news sites and it was so famous that after it was over, they did a parody of the fight during the Epsies.
Oh my God, you're the surgeon?
Oh, I'm not the surgeon. He is.
Yo, Lamar.
A one-time affair, you say? We wouldn't have him here if that was the case. Another time in a nightclub, his crew was insulted and he went after the people at fault. After being taken out of the nightclub, he threw thousands of dollars at the bouncers in order to let him back in, because he wanted the people who were talking smack. Objectively, loyalty for your crew is a good thing, but flying off the handle like that doesn't help you. But this isn't the end. During the last NBA season, during his time watching the Raptors, they had a match against the Washington Wizards, and when they did, he got into a shouting match with player Kendrick Perkins. This shouting match got so intense that he had to be separated from him by both teams. And then he went and followed him back into the locker room area to talk some more smack. Another recent incident actually involved his security forces. Drake didn't personally get involved in this one, but he was sued nonetheless because his forces actually hurt a guy for getting too close to them, and various other things. He got off for the right reasons, but still. So as you can see, Drake is never afraid to defend himself, and that's fine to an extent. But the truth is that he has a hard time controlling that temper when the circumstances are right, and that gets him into a lot of trouble. And while he himself hasn't gotten fully detained or put in jail for his temper just yet, it may only be a matter of time, which would be a terrible way to end his very prolific and influential career, which is why Drake goes very far to try and hide this dark side. There's also the matter of his illegitimate son, but we'll save that for another list.
Actions were pending against you at the end of 2008. I don't recall any.
Lil Wayne, IRS issues. So what exactly did Lil Wayne do to screw with the IRS? To put it simply, he decided not to pay his taxes. But not only did he fail to pay them, but he's also failed to pay them multiple times over the course of many years, which has cost him so much money that it'll make your jaw drop. That's because he owed them millions of dollars over the years, which would be a life sentence for most people, but not Lil Wayne because of his fame and fortune. A crime of the past? Yes and no. While he did do these in past years, he's also had some of these tax issues recently, such as in early 2019 when Lil Wayne was forced to pay $14 million to the IRS for issues that occurred in 2011 and 2012, where he failed to cite certain things on his taxes. Yep, $14 million. To be more specific about what happened, he forgot to cite about $7.5 million one year and about $6.5 million the next year. How one forgets to cite millions of dollars on his taxes is beyond me. You might make the case that $1 million could be lost. You can make the case that with all the contract deals and other things that he has to deal with, he just didn't make the right documentation or marks on the form. And you could also make the case that for this to happen in a single year is very plausible. But for this to happen with $14 million in total and in back-to-back years, that's not so forgivable. Which begs the question of how this happened at all, especially since this wasn't his first defense on the matter. What's more, Lil Wayne claims to surround himself with smart people. So how was one of those people, not an accountant, to handle such things? Now it's true that he reached an arrangement with the IRS to pay it all back, and so he's free and clear for now. But like I said, this was just the latest tax offense that he had to deal with. In 2014, Lil Wayne was hit with a tax bill that cost him $12 million that he was forced to pay. And then in 2012, he had another bill from the IRS, this time for $7.7 million. That's another set of millions that he lost thanks to improper filing of taxes. Just as important, when you put all these offenses next to each other and add them up, that means Lil Wayne paid $33 million plus to the IRS, all because of him thinking he could leave things out and not get caught. But what might be the worst thing of all is that on social media, Lil Wayne said that he had Jay-Z to thank for getting him out of his tax issues. He cited the legendary rapper as a huge reason why he got through this whole mess in one piece. What he did exactly is unclear, but more than likely he either fronted him the money or helped him get the right people to help him through the ordeal. There's people like Jay-Z. He said at the time, he helped me when I was really down. Really down. Jay don't want me to tell nobody. That man helped me with my taxes. He's a real friend, y'all. If Jay-Z did front him the money, then that's just sad, because that means he couldn't pay it off himself, despite supposedly being worth about $120 million. If it was just advice, you have to wonder why Jay-Z didn't give him that before. Troubles with money is a common dark side of the celebrity world, but to have it happen to this extent, that's pretty crazy.